Hi, welcome to the award-winning Ed Brown Show. And we have Devon Kelly. He's going to tell us a little bit about 13. You know, when we think of 13, it's always negative, but Devon, this is very positive. He's thinking about our young men, and we need all the help we can get. Welcome to the Ed Brown Show, Devon.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. I
And tell
appreciate you
me
having me.
about this organization. What do you call the 13th Man? Tell us a little bit about it and how it got started and how you got involved.
Perfect. Again, I was raised here in Prince George's County and a product of the county, and thought that there's some opportunities here to help young men, similar to how I was helped when I was a young man. So I came up with the idea of a nonprofit called the 13th Man. The 13th Man is built on leadership, enrichment activities, leadership development, so that our young men can start the legacy that I wish I had been had when I was young to become better of tomorrow. The 13th Man name was built on a sports cliche. There are usually 12 men to a basketball team. The 13th man is usually, as you mentioned, a negative connotation because he didn't make that team. So what we like to do,
He's not even bench warmer.
he's not even a bench warmer, right? So that's unfortunate. But however,
Right.
he has the same needs as some of the people and some of the young men who did make the team. But we didn't want to forget about him. Usually that 13th man is not afforded the opportunity of mentors, coaches, accolades, travel. And so the 13th Man offers those opportunities. As well as we also have some sports involved in our programs too. So if we can help them become one of the bench warmers or even one of the starters, we try to help that as well.
What about academics? You get involved in that?
Absolutely. Academics is the foundation of leadership. And so we have a tutorial program every Saturday. It's free to the students, the young men. All they have to do is register on our site. We do an SAT prep course during every Saturday and every Monday night. And more importantly, we took them just in February to an HBCU Festival College Fair tour, not only just for high-rising seniors, but also young men like sophomores, just so they could get a feel for what the college life would be about.
Yeah, right. Well, that's really needed because many of us, when we reach that stage, we have a lot of decisions to make, and we have peer pressure, and that type of thing. How do you get them to decide which way they're going? Do you give any guidance, like having different groups coming in, professors and mentors and things of that nature to
Absolutely.
help guide the decision for the young people?
Absolutely. We have a great staff of mentors. Most of them are local products from Prince George's County. So the young men can see where their future lies. These are businessmen, they're athletes. More importantly, at one point in time, they were sitting like the young men they're speaking to. And I think that's had a positive influence on each and every young man. Every summer, we do what we call the 13th Man Summer Classic. It is a leadership.
And where's that held?
In Greenbelt Marriott, off
Okay.
of Ivy Lane. It's a summer enrichment program. It's a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday session. We have group speakers. We have team building. We have video game fun things to do. But more importantly, it gets people to focus on ideas and things that they need to learn as a foundation to become successful later on in life. It's a 3-day event. It's a 4-day event that we do. It's free. Again, you have to register on our website. 12 to 17-year-olds. They stay at the Marriott the entire time.
Oh, stay at the Marriott. So that's a plus there.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it goes back to what I mentioned before about the young men not being a part of the basketball teams, not having that afforded opportunity to travel. This gives them an opportunity during the summer to go and be a part of something. And the Marriott's been a great representative of our thing, and it's been a real success. This will be our third year.
Marriage stepped up, huh?
Very much so. And again, for organizations like ours, we started in 2014, having big sponsors like that and having a big backing for that really means a lot to our program.
Yes. And now, how do you get them involved in making decisions? Do you in your mentoring?
So part of our program is about leadership. Leadership's about making decisions for not only yourself, but for whoever has decided to follow you. Oftentimes we wait till we are adults to believe, hey, I can be a leader. When we believe that leadership is within, every young man has that leadership ability in it. What we're trying to do is bring that out. So when we bring our mentors in, they are leaders and pillars of the community, both in the business world, both in the community.
Yeah, the business world is something really they need to. They seem to drift, to the we say basketball or sports or something like that, and they are very strong in the acting,
Right.
that type of thing,
Yeah.
And I was just wondering, sometimes in a program like yours, you'd have a tour of a working organization. Since you're dealing with Marriott, that's one right there. That's right in the building that they could use as an illustration. When I talk about illustration, I'm talking about the CEO position.
Right.
I'm not talking about the, you think in terms of the jobs where there's no future.
Absolutely.
In other words, they have a tendency, we have in that situation with MGM now, is that what we're trying to do in bringing in MGM, we wanted them to get involved in employment of the young people and on the CEO level, not parking cars, working in the kitchen and that type of thing.
Right.
And I think that and Marriott is an excellent example, having them to really have a tour of positions of the nature of CEO, so that they know what the preparation for those positions are too, if they wanted to, what's required as far as getting into the high-level jobs. We've had enough of the low-level jobs, when it comes in, this CEO position is decision-making.
Right.
And in order to do that, you have to have exposure, and you have to qualify.
Absolutely.
See?
And one of the things is interesting in that we do. I am the CEO of my own company. So other than a nonprofit, I've had Novad Management Consulting for 14 years now. And so one of the things that we are able to do is bring them into my world, the everyday world that they often see. And
that's very important.
Absolutely. And the leaders and the mentors that we bring as well, they are CEOs, high-level positions as well. And so part of it is coming in and seeing what happens in the day, not what you see on TV. One of the things we're trying to do is break down those stereotypes, the things that say, hey, we don't always have to go for low-level jobs. You can have a goal in mind to be a CEO. And so hopefully with some of the foundational principles that we do at our classic, at our enrichment activities throughout the year, we are laying those groundwork for them to become successful.
Excellent. Because they have to be exposed to things like that and really see the world. I had my grandson, he was talking about he wanted to be a veterinarian, Okay, he's 11th grade or something like that. So my son would say, okay, so we'll get you next Saturday. I have a friend that's a veterinarian. He worked 2 weeks. He said, I don't think I like being a veterinarian.
Which often happens, but afforded that opportunity.
I just use it as an example of, they have ideas, but the exposure that they get, what in order to be in a CEO position, what it requires on the educational level, because we got to get the youngsters out of the. When I was coming along, the idea was you get a college degree, you get a education, and then you get you a good government job, and then you work 40 years and retire. That's antique now.
Right.
See, the situation now, during those times, you had a lot of hurdles, like segregation and things of that nature. But now it's open. But youngsters have to know they have to be prepared for it.
Right.
See, and then in being prepared to start, like you say, what is it, 12 years old?
12 years old, correct.
To
17.
17.
Correct.
Because what's happening to discourage youngsters is that we talk about advancement and things of that nature, and he looks around the corner, and the drug dealer has a big $400,000 house and a car, So he said, and then he looks over here, and his buddy, he has a degree, you know what I mean? But the problem is his buddy, he owes almost a house note on the school loan.
Right.
Okay. Plus the fact he can't find a position on his level.
Right. Right.
Many kids have degrees and can't get jobs now.
And unfortunately, that's somewhat of the stereotype that we have to deal with, and the hurdles that we have to deal with. So we're hoping that all we can do is create the idea that if that opportunity is presented to yourself, that you're ready for it. That if someone gives you an opportunity to be successful, that you have the foundation to take advantage of that opportunity. And you can tell them all day long that
Yeah.
the degree, the hard work, the patience, that's sustainable. Some of the other opportunities and the things that you're looking at, those aren't sustainable. So they may look good on Saturday when you take a look, but that won't look good 2 years from now. And I think what we're doing is saying, hey, you can be a pillar of your community. You can reach those heights, and it's sustainable. You can live and do that till you retire. And the other part's not really sustainable, we believe.
Right.
And I think we have a good young men to do that.
Right. And the thing you have to emphasize is peer pressure. A lot of youngsters, they become involved with what Johnny Jones is doing and what he has and what he doesn't have and how he got it and that type of thing. So giving illustrations, like I was saying, with the CEO image and getting into I feel getting into the business world is the key to advancement. What I mean, when I say business world, I'm talking about own your own business. Here in Prince George County, I always look at it is that you have a lot of homes and cars and stuff, but you don't have automobile dealership. By a minority. Or you don't have you have different stores. You have Walmart, have all of those. But before integration, what happened is that the African American had plenty of businesses.
Right.
Okay, tell us once again where this program is going to be held and what time of the year and who to contact.
Contact us. You can visit us on our website at the13thman.org. You can call our office at 301-429-8807. Our office is located in Landover, Maryland. More importantly, that if you have a young man or you know of a young man 12 to 17 who wants to join us, the Summer Classic is in July 25th through the 29th, I believe. So hopefully they can come out and join us and help support our organization.
Fantastic. Thanks a lot now. And what we're going to talk about is something that everybody has to be concerned with, and that's health. And what is one of the worst things? Well, we talk about it, and they doing research on Alzheimer's. We're going to have a young lady here, Ms. Robbins, to tell us a little bit about it in the second half. See you in a second.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Thanks for the support.
Hi, welcome back to the Ed Brown Show. And we have an outstanding guest here. She wrote a book, and it's Laughing to Keep from Crying. What is that all about? A lot of people say, well, it's a lot of things maybe you could do. But Rosalind wrote this book here about laughing to keep, and Alzheimer's. I mean, there's no one out there, there's immunity to it. You no matter whether you drink your milk or go to bed and sleep 9 hours or what, this is and they're doing terrific research on that. And I'm hoping, I'm putting the plug in for the new Prince George Hospital, that they would have a research section in this new hospital for Alzheimer's and have Rosalind here to help dedicate it.
Awesome.
Welcome to the Ed Brown Show.
Thank you so much.
That Alzheimer's is something that, hey, there's no real cure. You can't take aspirin and
That's correct.
And it's something that's so rough on the life of people because it's something that you can't prepare for it, and I don't know. Tell us a little bit. Why did you get involved in something like that?
Well, I got involved, number one, because I was a caregiver for my mother. She had Alzheimer's. I found out that she had it in 2000 when I kept getting telephone calls from my aunt. My mother lived in Darlington, South Carolina, and I constantly got these phone calls that something was wrong with her. So once I went there and tried to figure out what was going on, I realized something was wrong. At the time, I did not know what Alzheimer's was. I had no idea. I never heard of it. So she was around 75
So
years old.
you weren't able to identify the
No,
symptoms.
and she was going to doctors there, but these doctors did not diagnose her. I didn't get the diagnosis until I brought her here to Maryland. I moved her here to stay with me. So that's how I got involved in
A
doing
personal
this.
drive
Absolutely.
that you experienced something that was not right.
Correct.
And what happens with that is that when it's a loved one like that, you're so sensitive about how do I explain to them that there is a problem, and how am I going to psychological thing. If a person been doing something for 75 years,
Right.
you know, they say, hey, wait a minute, don't tell me what to do. Say, I
that's
know
correct.
what I'm doing. I've been doing this for 7 years. You
Right,
see
longer
what I
than
mean?
you have.
So it makes it the approach to a loved one. It makes it difficult.
Yes, it does.
Now, how do you get around that?
It was very difficult. My mother was very adamant that nothing was wrong with
Right.
her, even to the point where we tried to move her. She
Oh, no.
refused to move. She still wanted to do everything that she used to do, like
Right.
cooking and cleaning and everything, but she just could not do that. With Alzheimer's, it'll actually get worse as it, it's from time to time, as
Right.
long as you have it. And that's what started happening to her, to the point where towards the end, she just actually became an infant. She couldn't do anything, walking, talking, eating, anything. We were literally doing everything for her. Even though she wanted to, she just could not do it. So, yeah, she was a very determined person that she wanted to do what she wanted to do, and we was not going to tell her what
Well,
to do.
that's a normal reaction to a
Absolutely.
person that has been self-sustaining for long periods of time.
Correct.
I've been doing this for 40 years, you know. I can continue to do it. How do you express yourself in your book to handle situations like that?
The way I wrote the book, the book is basically about our story. It starts off with how my mother grew up, and then it goes into my journey as far as a caregiver. And I wanted to also plug in my children's journey, because they were definitely involved too. And throughout the book, I also give lessons learned and what I learned while I was going through this. Things like when my mother was combative, what I would do. I had to learn. I was joking, but it was true. I had to learn how to duck, because she would hit me, and sometimes she was very successful with that. Or what I need to do as far as being patient with her, and also to learn how to deal with what she's going through at that time. For example, when she was combative, my mother loved dolls. My mother loved children, and she was an adult daycare provider. So doll babies, she looked at those as her children. So that calmed her down when she got agitated. So those are kinds of things I learned, and I expressed that into the book, and also lessons learned. Try to find something to calm that person down, or something like that.
And what system did you use to do that? Or
I didn't have a
did you,
system.
or did you develop a system
I developed
from
a system.
experience?
I developed, I took it one day at a time, because you never know what they're going to do from one day at a time. Yes,
And how did the medical doctor help along those lines?
my mother's doctor, the one here, was excellent. He treated her differently probably than most doctors would have. So when I first brought her to him, he gave her a series of tests, and that's when he detected, yes, she has, initially it's called dementia, then clearly Alzheimer's. Once he cleared all the tests, like her heart and everything was fine, that's when he knew it was Alzheimer's, because Alzheimer's just affects the brain. Everything else in her body was fine. So that's the way he treated her. Every time she went there, and I would tell him what's going on, he said, okay, maybe we need to change this or change that. But he never put her on some of the other medicines that most Alzheimer's patients are on. So I thought that was good, and I actually think that helped prolong her life.
Okay, now, I mentioned the fact we're going to get a new hospital here in Prince George County.
Yes.
And I have made recommendations for it to have some kind of research on because research on, just like Alzheimer's, they haven't come up with a cure.
That's correct.
Now, Alzheimer's would be being associated with the University of Maryland. It could be a teaching hospital in the medical school, and also on the research level, because that's something that's positive. Because, you know, first thing they talk about, everybody's going through the budget right now.
Right, right.
They're talking about money, but it was Builder, and I think in D.C. They gave to the University of Maryland $30 million each for research.
Right.
And I'm saying to the county exec and the governor, you know, is to make an arm of this hospital a specialty, and like Alzheimer's is a good example.
Absolutely.
Because there is a problem. There's a growing problem.
It's a growing problem.
I mean,
yes, it
it's
is.
not that it's the research is bringing it to the point that it's being like, it's certain diseases you don't hear about now because they've done research. I remember it was time when you got pneumonia, they carted you away.
Correct.
Pneumonia was the end of it. He had pneumonia, and that was it. But they did research on, and they found out a cure for that. So to the fact that it wasn't devastating when a person, and the same thing will have to happen with the Alzheimer's and any other disease. That would be if we in Prince George County had a research arm. What you're saying is great. Alzheimer's, because everybody, I mean, it doesn't pass by anyone. It doesn't care how much money you have, what color you are. It doesn't make any difference.
That is so true.
And that's something that, and you writing a book on that is very enlightening. And I think that she should continue with that, and maybe form some kind of group, since you've had personal involvement in it, and you wrote a book, and write the county exec and the governor and tell them about, and get your group having a research arm of Alzheimer's in the Prince George's Hospital.
And my goal is to get more involved, especially with the Alzheimer's Association, because I'm a partner with them, and those are things that, you know, I know they're trying to do, and I'm you know, helping them. So, and even with this, the book, 10% of it goes directly to them for, you know, to help with donations.
It's a fundraiser.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. The book's a fundraiser. So you've heard it here. We're going to hope that you get involved in, and like I said, make those politicians, let them know that a research arm of Alzheimer's is a good example of the need here in the Prince George County area from that. Okay.
Yes,
all right, that's good. So like I say, I'd like to congratulate you.
Thank you so much.
Because sometimes, you know, something good comes out of something bad.
Absolutely.
And no one knows with that, you know, it could strike anyone. And right now, I think you probably could tell me more. People thinking in terms of age, but Alzheimer's now it's they're striking younger people.
Yes, it can strike as early as your early 40s. That's called early onset Alzheimer's.
And Alzheimer's.
Yeah, it hasn't. It's not an old age disease,
but most
as people may think that.
Alzheimer's with
yes, they do.
Old age. See,
yeah, it's not the
case. And really, it's not. See, and they're finding that out. And see, all of that can be done in a research environment.
Absolutely.
That's why we need people like you out there, you know, doing your duty. You know, all of us are forced to do things sometimes that we hadn't planned in our life, but
absolutely
it comes
correct. This was not planned.
It's rough to make the adjustment.
Yes, it is.
You were just telling me how the reaction, you know, she actually became your enemy, you know. She looked at you as the enemy.
Yes,
you know,
she did.
when you tried to restrict her activity.
Right.
See, and you got to have special training to be able to handle that. Well, what about contact? How do you make a contact with your organization that's doing such a wonderful job?
Okay, you can see my contacts listed at the end of the show, and it will provide all the information there.
Well, what do you think of, as far as research is concerned? Do you think that that's a good thing for the new hospital to have?
Absolutely. We need all the research we can get because the goal is to find a cure for this disease. It's widespread. Again, we have no idea who's going to get it or when. It's considered, in my opinion, a fear disease because based on that, you don't know, when you can get it. And if we can find a cure, that would be awesome.
And see, in getting the cure, identification is so very important because someone could be physically injured. Because I recall where a lady had a mother, she went down and tried to buy a gun. You know what I mean? Said she needed a gun because people might break into her house. And she was 75, 80 years old, She's never had a gun, but all of a sudden, they were worried about it, and they got a call that she had been down to the pawn shop looking for a gun.
And that disease will take
Yeah.
a person so many different angles that they believe what they're thinking in their mind.
Right.
And even though it's not true, they still believe it. Like my
Yeah.
mom thought I was her enemy.
Enemy, yeah.
Right. I'm taking care of her.
Right.
But my brother, opposite, he was the angel. So, but, that's how that disease is.
Well,
Right.
usually what happens too is that the person that's closest to them, that's the person that receives that negativeness.
Absolutely.
And for instance, like you are doing all the positive things for her, you know what I mean? And she resented that to a certain extent.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah, and by resenting it, what they usually do is that they go different ways. Some people get violent, and it depends on the size of the person, just what happens, if you're really going to be injured or what, So you got to think about that,
Yes,
know. But anyway, once again, tell us those where you can be contacted. We want to make sure. And all of you out there, hey, push for Alzheimer's, especially for the hospital.
Absolutely. Again, you can review my contact information, my website, and my email address at the credits at the end of the show.
All right, this has been Ed Brown, and don't forget, support the Prince George's County Hospital, especially research section. That's what we want.
Yes.
See you next time.
Thank you.